Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I've posted. Had a lot of little life circumstances kind of get in my way, but I'm here now. This wonderful afternoon, just kind of out bopping around. And I had a viewer say they wanted to a little bit more stories. Okay. So as you saw the thumbnail, today's story is the ghost and the hooligan. Maybe a two-parter, I'm not sure yet. We'll see how long this goes on. The hooligan is myself. The ghost was my very first car. This would be in the years of I want to say somewhere like 1986 to 1987. And it was a 1965 Plymouth Sport Fury. Had the Commando 383 V8 in it. I had bought it at a garage sale, believe it or not. My best friend at the time, his dad, was having a yard sale, and I saw this old lead sled sitting there, neglected and not really doing anything. So I asked him, I said, hey, would you be willing to sell the car? And he's like, well, I'm not really trying to sell the car. This is a yard sale. I said, I know, but I need a car, and that doesn't seem to be doing anything for anyone. So we talked about it, and he said, well, I'll tell you what, if you can get me $500, I'll give you the car. I said, all right. Went back home, begged my mom for $500. She gave it to me, and I got the car. At the time, it was a multicolored, half white, half blue, half primer red. It was a mess. Couple little dents here and there, nothing too extreme. Body trim was messed up. Interior was messed up. But, $500, come on. $500 and like 16 years old, couldn't really argue. And this is where it becomes the ghost. I've driven it around for a little while, decided I just couldn't at least leave the exterior looking multicolored and everything else. So me and my best friend, we bought a couple of cases of rattle can primer gray, and we stripped all the tore up body stripping off, bonded up the holes for where the body's trim would go, and then just spray painted everything, all the body primer gray. It actually didn't come out that bad. And so I just decided to call it Ghost after that. I've got a few stories with that car, and it really amazes me that I lived through any of it, to be quite honest. 'Cause I did some pretty atrocious things in that car, with that car. So I think one main story, one of the stories that really sticks out is a race I had. So now I was a senior in high school. I was going to a public school, taking all those dumbed down courses I could find, and one of them was small engine repair. I was trying to get into motorcycle engine repair. Couldn't quite swing that. That class filled up too quick. So the next best thing was small engines, like lawn mowers and weed eaters and things like that. And I was going to school with a guy there that he himself had a lead sled, a Ford. I forget what kind, but it was a big old boat like mine was. And, we decided we needed to race each other from the satellite school where the small engine repair and motorcycle repair and that kind of stuff was at, back to the main high school, so we could be properly dismissed. So we took off out of there, and this is in the middle. I guess I should give you some context. This is in the middle of Denver, Colorado, on the south end of Denver, on a street, if I recall correctly, called Federal Boulevard. And we're talking, 2 lanes one way, 2 lanes the other way, in the middle turn lane area, right? So this is going to be about 3 in the afternoon, and it's not terribly busy yet, but busy enough. And yeah, we get to racing on it, and he's ahead of me, and then I pull ahead a little bit, and then he pulls ahead a little bit, and we're weaving in and out of traffic, driving fairly recklessly, but not crazy yet. So we're getting closer to the school, and he gets, a little ways ahead of me, and I'm snarled up in traffic, and I decide this just can't stand. And so I dropped it a gear, mashed the gas pedal down, and got over into the turn lanes, into, the median lanes. And I end up blazing past him, and I got to be doing close to 80, maybe faster. And I'm blowing through intersection lights now. Now I'm committed. I'm blowing through intersections, lights, everything. And I get to the high school, amazingly enough. Somehow I managed to get to the high school without getting T-boned or hitting somebody. At some point I did bounce back over into the proper traffic lanes, but holy smokes. I get to the high school, and being the cool cat that I am, I jump out of my car, get on my hood, lean back on my windshield, and strike up a Marlboro cigarette, and I'm sitting there smoking, being super cool. And then he finally drives in, and he's all excited. He's like, what in the, expletives was that? He says, I was sitting there at the light, and next thing I know, this gray blur goes blazing past me. I'm like, yeah, that would be me. And I'm like, you said this was a race, so I took it as a race, and I win. Now, what did I win? Nothing. It's like we didn't bet anything. Those were just bragging rights. So yeah, that was one. Let's see, I got a few minutes. Another one. Same year, same high school, right? My senior year. I'm coming back from somewhere, and if I don't remember exactly where I was coming back, possibly from dropping my girlfriend off at home. I'm just trying to remember the side streets that I was on, and I wouldn't have any reason to be on that particular side street if it were not for dropping my girlfriend off at home after school. So anyway, I'm going down this little, residential side street, and I'm coming up on this intersection, coincidentally like I am now, and it's a 3-way intersection, going straight through and turning up to a left. And for some reason, I feel like it's a good idea to smash the gas pedal and get rolling down this side street, this residential neighborhood side street, as hard as I can, and get to that intersection, and then do a hard drift to the left. Again, don't know why. It just seemed like the thing to do at the time, right? So I do this, and I successfully pull the drift off, but instead of hitting the gas once I get the drift going and proceed on to the adjacent street, I realize that something has gone wrong with my car, and so as I slide into the curb, and the car rocks a little bit and then sits there, and I've noticed my rear end is sitting a little bit lower than it should. I get out, stop the car, turn off the engine, get out, take a look, and yeah, sure enough, my right rear rear tire is flat. Okay, so get out the jack up the car, pull the tire off, and I noticed that the inside sidewall to that tire has been cut up, and that's why the tire's flat. Well, fortunately, Big O Tires, where I bought that particular set of tires for my car, wasn't that far away, so I just took the rim and tire and everything and kind of walked myself over to where Big O was, like about a mile away on a major intersection on that same street, Federal Boulevard, and gave it to him and said, hey, I need to use my tire warranty because my tire went flat. And the guy looked at me, looked at the tire, looked back at me again, and he said, I shouldn't do this, but I will this one time. He said, you need to make sure your tires are properly inflated, because your rim cut the inside of the tire on the sidewall, and that's why it went flat. And I really shouldn't do this, but I'll do it this one time for you, but just make sure your tires are properly inflated from now on. Yes, sir, no problem. Of course, that isn't what happened. What happened was I drifted the car so hard on tires that weren't meant to be drifted on, and the tire folded, and the rim, smashed down onto the tire, and yeah, just created all kinds of havoc. So put the tire back on and proceeded to drive sanely and calmly the rest of my way home. I got time for one more story. This one was definitely an interesting one. So either winter or early, late winter, early spring, but there's snow on the ground. I'm going to say it was winter time. It was before winter break. I had somehow gotten on the bad side of some dudes at that school. I honestly don't know what I did. It could have been anything, because I was a very unpredictable and vile person back then, and I really, going to that high school, I did try to keep my head down, and keep myself out of trouble, but somehow I did manage to get in trouble with these dudes. Don't know why, don't know who they were, don't remember any of that, but I do remember this. It's lunch break, and at that high school, we could leave for lunch. Didn't have to stay there. And so I was going to go to Burger King, which was across the street from the school, but I've got a car. I'm not going to walk across the street. I'm going to get in my car, go around the block, cross the busy intersection, and then go through Burger King. And I was parked on the back side of the school, so it was opposite of where Burger King was anyway. And there's snow on the street, and it's all slick and everything like that. Well, these three guys, they follow me out to my car, and I'm parked on the street, a residential street like this. You could picture me parked off to the side here to the right, and the high school to the left, on the other side of the street. And so yeah, I get in my car, and they form this human chain across the street, 3 abreast. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. Up to this point, they hadn't said anything to me, really, except for they wanted to talk to me. And I said, yeah, I'm not talking to you guys at all. And in fact, I am going to go get something to eat, and if you're here when I get back, then we can talk, quote unquote. And that's when they decided to make that human chain across the street. And you know what? I just didn't feel like I needed to put up with that. So I got in my car, started it up, and once again mashed my foot to the pedal, mashed my foot to the gas pedal all the way to the floor. And the car is roaring and making all kinds of noise. And my right rear tire is spinning like mad. I mean, it is snowy and icy, so I'm not really getting anywhere fast. But it is quite the spectacle, because I got snow and ice creating this massive rooster tail behind my car now. The car is moving forward. I am managing to get enough traction to get the car in a forward momentum. And these guys are still standing in the road. And so I'm thinking to myself, I wonder how long they're going to stay there. Because I have no desire to get out and let them pound me into the dirt. So I just keep going. And I believe I was doing about 25, 30 miles an hour when I finally hit them. Well, I hit one of them anyway. The two on the either end abandoned their buddy in the middle and dove off to the side when they finally got the memo that I wasn't stopping. And the guy in the middle just kind of froze there. And I think he almost had to have jumped right before I hit him, because he landed on my, because he got up on my hood, and I'm still going. I'm not slowing down at all. And he rolled up over my windshield. I could hear him tumbling over the top of my car, and then down onto the trunk, and then finally into the street. Oh man, what a sight. And so I stop, and I'm looking around through my mirrors to see if the other guys are going to show back up from wherever they disappeared to, and they didn't. So I got out, and yeah, I got out and I walked back behind my car to where he was laying there in the street, kind of moaning and groaning and, you know, not having a great day. And I kicked him, and he groaned some more, and I decided, well, he's probably going to live because I didn't hit him that hard. And I walked back to my car and I proceeded to go to Burger King. Ate lunch, came back to that same back street, parked in the same place where I was. And all this while, you got to understand, I'm expecting to get knifed, shot, something. I'm expecting to get just blindsided in some horrible fashion at any given time. And nothing happened. And then I'm expecting that maybe I will see them in school and the same thing will happen, because some horrible thing is going to befall me. Nothing. I never saw them again. Didn't have a clue who they were, what I did to piss them off or anything, but you know, that seemed to resolve the entire issue because I never saw them again. Anyway, those are 3 quick stories of the Ghost and the Hooligan. I'm going to end it here. I've got another 3 or 4 short stories about me and that stupid car, but I'll save that for the next one. You all be good, better than I was. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you on the next one.